Well, it's the middle of April and at least the sun's shining, but it was freezing again last night and there's a frost on the ground. Another cold day. Won't be taking any day rides. I like to come out in the morning and get some fresh air, anyways, even though it's cold out here. There are some people that will go out riding in this weather. They'll take every chance they can to ride. I'm not like that. Uh, they'll bundle all up, put all their leathers on, yeah, and then freeze. And to me, I don't need to do that. I'll just hang out another. I think tomorrow it's supposed to hit 70, so tomorrow I can ride. I take a little ride somewhere. I don't know if I'll do a day ride. When I talk about a day ride, I mean, just somewhere you can go out, ride somewhere, get a bite to eat, and then come back home. From here, where I am, it's somewhat limited. I mean, there's a lot of places to go eat, but I mean, if you're going to take a day ride to go to some destination, the most popular one is to go south from here, and that would be what we call Amish country. Now, there's a whole lot to do down there. It's kind of a touristy area. Millersburg, Berlin, Sugar Creek, Charm, all those little towns down there are interesting tourist stops. And they do have some good places to eat down there. The problem with that, though, say if my buddies all get together and they say they want to ride on a Saturday or Sunday when they're not working, because some of them still work, some of them are still employed. Amish country shuts down, literally shuts down on the weekend. So there's nothing going on there. During the week, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. You can go find auctions, flea markets, everything's going on down there. But you go down there on a Sunday, all you're going to see is buggies coming and going from church, because all the businesses are completely shut down there. So, to go down there and do something, you almost have to go during the week to be able to enjoy, the wherever you're going to go down there. To go east from here, there's really nothing. I mean, you go into Akron, the city of Akron, the tire capital, and who wants to ride into Akron? It's just a dirty city. I have, I have ridden there just for the heck of it. In fact, we did take a ride east one time, and we rode for, I don't know, a couple hours, and we got way out on the other side of Ohio, and we couldn't find a place to eat. We couldn't find a decent place to eat, and so we stopped at this little dingy, filthy gas station and fueled up, and we turned around. We went back. We got into when we came into a bigger city of Ravenna. We stopped and ate, and I can't remember the name of the restaurant that we ate at, but the waitress said, you guys have been out riding a motorcycle. I said, yeah, we rode all the way out to this little town out there. And she said, oh my gosh, you rode out there? She said, that's like the meth capital of Ohio. I said, well, no wonder the place was shut down and there was nobody there. So that ride was pretty much a flop. I mean, it was fun riding with the guys, but as far as finding a cool destination, that didn't work either. If you go north, you're going to hit Lake Erie, and that's maybe about an hour ride. You can be up at the lake, but you get there and yeah, what you can ride. Route 2 goes along the shoreline. That's kind of a cool ride, but it's not that far away, so it's really not like taking a day ride. I mean, you could spend I guess you could spend half a day riding up to the lake and back. And then to go west from here, there's if you go due west from here, there's nothing but farmland country, and so the only other option is to go like northwest up towards Sandusky. Sandusky is where the big, huge amusement park Cedar Point is. So when you get up that way, and that's where they have Ohio Bike Week. But up there's a lot of places to eat, and yeah, I guess you could find some cool places to go for a ride up that way. We haven't gone that way. I've gone that way for Ohio Bike Week, but I haven't taken a day ride up there with the guys. Just, go up to a fish house or something and have dinner or something. So, I don't know. That's kind of where it stands. We haven't planned any rides yet. Two of my buddies have been not doing too well, so they're trying to heal up and get better. The one just got rid of his bike and got a new bike. Another buddy that I ride with, he had to sell his bike. He was falling on hard times and he needed cash, and he sold his bike. So I don't know whether he's going to replace it or not and get another bike. At this point, I don't see it happening, not anytime soon. He says he's going to have another bike by summer, but he's pretty pressed right now, and I don't think it's going to happen. So it might just be 3 of us riding this year, if we do. But I'm looking forward to it regardless. Right now, though, I'll just stay in the truck. In fact, I'm going out to meet some of my biker buddies. I got different bands of biker buddies. They're not all the same, I mean, I've got quite a social network. So I'm going to meet a couple of my, 3 or 4 biker buddies this morning for breakfast. Earlier this week, I met some of my other biker buddies for breakfast. So yeah, it's all good. You can kind of see the frost on the grass there, starting to melt off in the sun a little bit. I don't know when I'm going to be able to mow. My grass is so wet. If I were to walk out across there, I'd end up with wet feet right now. And the whole yard's like that. It's like a swamp. Just really soft. Just a mess. This is my little cherry tree that I just planted. And it's got some little blossoms on there. It's wanting to open up. But it hasn't quite popped yet. So I'm happy. It looks healthy. I have a lilac that I planted over here last year, and I'm hoping it does all right too. I mean, with these cold frost mornings, I don't want it killing the blossoms, and that can happen. But I don't know that it's a killer frost. And so see, it's actually got some little tiny blossoms on it, and it's starting to open up. So it looks pretty healthy. It's doing well. I'm glad with that. But gee whiz, I'm leaving footprints in the lawn right now, just walking over there. It's a sloppy mess. I got the scooter all turned around, ready to go, ready to head out. Well, where am I going with that thing in the middle of the road? I just push that back to the door there, and I shoot right out. So normally I pull in straight, but I turn it around so that I'm ready to roll tomorrow. For today, we're going to ride in comfort because it's cold out. Not sure what the temperature is. It's As soon as my camera goes, it's around 40 degrees right now. It's pretty cold. That'd put the chill factor down below freezing, and I'm not into that. I'm gonna put my sunshades on too here, because it is a sunny day for once. You know, usually in Northeast Ohio here, it's cloudy and gray. It just comes with the territory. I don't know if it's because of the Great Lakes or what, but if we get a day with a full blue sky, that's a real blessing, because it just doesn't happen very often. Now, right now, there's no clouds in the sky, but it is kind of hazy, you know, so it isn't a purely blue sky, it isn't a pure blue sky. That's usually the case here in Ohio. You know, very rare that we see that really bright blue sky without any haze in the air. But a lot of days, it's cloudy here. I flew, years and years ago. I remember taking off from Cleveland Airport, and when the plane took off, it was cloudy. And we popped up above the clouds, and there was bright sun, and you could see every direction over Ohio was completely cloud covered. Gray days, and we've had a lot of gray days lately with a lot of rain too. So everything around here has been like almost flood stage, real close to it. I'm not real familiar with Cincinnati, Ohio, which is down on the Ohio River, the southern part of Ohio. I saw on the news the other day that the Ohio River had overflowed its banks, so all the riverfront down there in the big city of Cincinnati was underwater, which I'm not real familiar with it, but I think a lot of that was just riverfront parks and things like that, but I'm sure there was some areas that took some damage just from the high waters. Around here, not so bad, though. The streams were pretty swollen, but we didn't really have any flooding, any damaging flooding per se. You know, when you live out here in the country, it's a little bit of a trek to get anywhere. You know, for me to go into town and get groceries, let's just say, I got a good 25-minute ride just to get to the store. So, you know, it's almost, you can almost figure an hour round trip just to get into pick up groceries and get home. So it usually takes me quite a few hours to knock that job out. But I mean, some people that I've invited over are reluctant to take the drive, because to them it's like taking a major trip to get to my house. You know, when I first bought my property out here in the country, I lived in the Akron, Ohio. I lived in the city. Lived in a real tight neighborhood where the houses were real close together. In fact, my driveway was shared, went right between the two houses. And so, you know, there was some problems with that, because the neighbors would come in and park their car right in the middle of the driveway and walk in the house right when I had to leave. And I'd be over there pounding on the door, "Hey, you got to move your car. I got to leave. I can't wait for you. I don't know what you're doing." But so the rule was, don't park your car in the middle of the driveway. But they seem to forget that rule quite frequently. But I hated living in the city, and when I moved out here, it seemed like so far away. I mean, I used to drive out here to visit my grandparents, and I would think, you know, on a normal day, I would think, oh, I'm not driving that far. They live, you know, way out. Well, now I live out there. And for me, driving anywhere is kind of relative, you know. In other words, I don't even think about it anymore. If I got to go somewhere, I just go. I don't even worry about it. I know it's going to be a drive, but that you just learn to live with it, and it just becomes something you accept. It's just, a 30, 40 minute out of your life that you're behind the wheel, and you just deal with it. It's a sacrifice you make for living out in the sticks, but it's a good sacrifice. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I like living out in the country. I like my privacy. I like, being around nature and not having neighbors. Nobody's going to be blocking my driveway anymore. I am so glad to be out of the city, though. When I lived there, the lady that lived right next door that shared the driveway was fairly obese, and she had a young daughter. And to give you an idea what kind of people they were, she asked me to come over and move a couch for her one day. And I went in the house, and they had animals. And there was, dog turds on the floor. And of course, they had all the excuses. The dog just did that this morning. We haven't had time to clean it up yet. I moved a couch, and there's like a pizza box under the couch with moldy pizza in it. It was disgusting. Just laziness, And I'm sure they were just comfortable with living that way. Fortunately, they weren't too much of a headache for me, but there were moments. I mowed their grass for them, which was a little postage stamp yard. There wasn't much grass to mow, but I mowed it for them because they wouldn't mow their lawn. And it just reflected on my place, because I was within 50 feet of their house. Probably not even that. Let's just say 30 feet of their house. So, I wanted, all the other houses on the street mowed their lawns and looked nice, and they were the only ones that lived like slobs. So I enabled them. I mowed their lawn for them. I didn't get anything in return either. But anyway, it was a while back, I took a drive down that street again, and my house that I renovated is still there and looking pretty nice. But the house that this lady lived in, it's gone. They had to tear it down. The only house on the street that they tore down was the one that was right next to the one I lived in. Just to give you an idea what kind of neighbor I had. The house wasn't worth salvaging. It was probably absolutely disgusting inside. Who knows what the rest of the house looked like at that time. But now I think it's just a garden. I think whoever bought that property, I don't know if it was the person that owns the house that I lived in or the other home. It looks like they kind of fenced it in and they have a garden there or something, so that's good, I don't know what that neighborhood's like anymore, because within a few blocks of where I lived, the neighborhood went downhill real quick. There was drugs and gun shootings and everything else. It wasn't very far from where my house was. I gotta slow down here. I got an Amish buggy. Watch out for the buggies. You can't go hauling ass around here, especially on these blind hills, because the buggies, they're not going very fast. Another thing you got to deal with when you're out in the country. Well, hey, cats, I appreciate you hanging with me this morning. Not much going on. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Thanks for joining me. If you liked my video, give me that like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe and continue to join me and see what kind of trouble we can get into this summer, huh? Well, until next time, cats, I'll catch y'all later.